Today, I want to talk to you about the worst thing that can happen when a young man starts to have sex. And even a little bit later on, this can still become a problem. And that problem is shallow, emotionless, like loveless sex. And it's what happens when men, they're saying, oh, he's just thinking with his dick. It's what happens when men just think with their with their dick. And I just wanted to talk to you today and tell you my experience and hopefully help you to avoid what happened and to hopefully give you some insight into what relationships and sex should be like from someone who's had, a couple of different type of relationships and sex with a couple of different people. And I realized the things that I'm going to tell you today. First thing that I found out was that lust and sexual desire and impulses, they're just chemicals. So, if you're really horny, you really like want to get with a girl, but you know that she's not very high quality, she's the type of person that you wouldn't normally sleep with if you weren't horny. So just think, if you had like, that post-nut clarity you get, you've just finished, and you're like, what the fuck? Imagine you're in that state and you're looking at this girl. Would you actually want to add another body to your count in this way? Because a man's body count is not as important as a woman's, but it's also still very important. And I feel like stepping down to, that level of sleeping with someone you wouldn't even normally sleep with is quite low quality. So, I mean, I know I've been there. And, another thing I found out, unfortunately, is that if a girl is talking with another guy, just don't put yourself through that. Like, if that sounds really stupid, but like, I'm like a friends with benefits type thing. Like, if if she's fucking you and another guy and maybe another one, but she gets pissed off when you say that you're gonna go and fuck someone else, that's bad. I mean, friends with benefits nowadays is so widely accepted and celebrated. Like, oh, friends with benefits, yay! There's no emotional ties. Whereas if you're someone that actually wants to feel love, then you're actually going to start to build a connection with this person because sex is sharing your soul with this person. You are now bonded for life. A part of your soul is with that person for the rest of their life, and the same with you with theirs. And so, if you're just going and doing this and you think you won't have any emotions and no feelings, and it's just, oh no, it's just pleasure, just pleasure. Even that's bad on its own. Guys like us, disciplined, self-improvement guys, we know that lust is not great and that pleasure is also not great. Like, what brings you pleasure? Porn, cake, um, alcohol, drugs. Are any of these good? Nah. So it just it does affect you, and you will have feelings, and one of you will come away hurt, if not both of you. Don't waste your precious time and energy if you know that a relationship won't develop and if it's just short, meaningless sex. Like, if you know that it's just going to be like a one night thing or like a couple of weeks or like a summer fling, just, just don't engage in it. Short, meaningless pleasure is just instant gratification. It's basically wanking with someone's body. That is essentially what, one night stands and all that are. And that culture is so toxic. Like, oh, it's awful. You don't even talk. You just, anyway. Relationships, now we're going to talk about relationships and sex. Relationships that are based around sex and on sex are doomed to fail. Now that's quite a strong standpoint that I have there. I'll explain it to you now. Say you've got two people, man and a woman, they've been friends for 3 or 4 years, they know literally everything about each other's lives, and then they decide to engage in a romantic relationship. Well, their base of like this, what's the word? Their base to their relationship, their foundation is going to be like this. It's going to be like this thick, this solid, like you can't break this, like absolutely solid. Whereas if your relationship with this person, say you met on a night out and you had sex, and then you kept talking, or you met up from Tinder, had sex, and then kept talking, engaged in a relationship with them. If you do any of those things, and the first thing that you do with that person, while you know a few things about them, you know they have two dogs, you know their favorite color. If you know all that about them, but nothing deeper, you haven't got a deeper connection with them at all, a deeper relationship. You just have like basic knowledge about them that literally thousands of people know, or hundreds, and you engage in that, like engage in that sex, and then continue to like if you continue to progress that relationship, sex as a base of a relationship foundation is like this. It's flimsy. It's all like fragile. If it's not as strong as if the relationship was formed traditionally, or friends. If you had prior connections to this person, then they would, you know, they might not be like this. They might not be solidly interlinked like this, like a massive strong base. But instead of being like this, they could be more intertwined. Whereas this just falls apart, breaks. You have one disagreement, and your relationship isn't actually based on much more than that. It's just relationship based on sex and around pleasure are just instant gratification, and like a way to enact lust. And lust has been a sin for thousands of years. Christianity, seven deadly sins, lust. And I fell quite deeply into lust. Would have been about 7, 8 months ago now. Like once I, no, it would have been about 9 months when I first started having my first sexual relationships, and throughout all of that period. But if you engage with someone progressively after that, and you continue to build on your relationship, and she met you, and the first thing, like the first night that you spent together, or the first day that you spent together, you had sex, then you're just going to be constantly thinking in the back of your mind, not consciously, it'll be at the back of your mind subconsciously, it'll constantly be eating away at you. How many guys has she done this with? If she did this with me, then she had the propensity to do it with other men before me. Or perhaps, with some girls, after you. You know? Like, before you break up, she could be doing it again. She could be just meeting people and not, just cheating on you. But, that's enough of the negative. Let's say you meet this beautiful, feminine, loving 10 out of 10 woman. She's absolutely stunning. You can feel the different polarities. She's so polarized with you, and you just click together so well. You have different views on things, so that, you're not just agreeing with each other constantly, you're challenging. You meet this girl, and you can tell that she's all those things. She's not a degenerate, she's quite natural. So don't do not fuck that girl. Not until you have a stronger connection. Because it will mess up the entire connection that you have with her, because of all the aforementioned points. If you have this flimsy connection with her, which you will have unless you build a deeper connection first, because it's like layers. If you build this solid, strong, interlocking connection like that, and then you have a bit of sex on top, and then you have really loving tantric sex. Not tantric, I don't know. I haven't really done much research on that, but if you have super loving sex, like where you literally look into each other's eyes as you like, I don't want to get too graphic, but as you're having sex, you're just looking into each other's eyes, saying "I love you," kissing, just passionate, not just like angry, just angry, like getting all your frustration out of sex that you would have with, a girl that you would speak to for one night. It's different when you have these 2 week, one night things compared to when you have like say 6 months. And thankfully, I can tell you from experience, it is so much better. Because what you don't understand is that the type of girls that do this are the more slutty type. The ones that go out and you spend a night with them and that's it. You never hear from them ever again. They are hoes, or they're in a very very bad emotional state. One or the other. But I'm not taking this away from you. You are also promiscuous for sleeping around and for doing that. And if you've done that, you need to like check yourself and realize because only broken people, not broken women, only broken people sleep with someone for one night and then never speak to them again, or like a couple of days and never speak to them again. Only broken people do that, whether it's a broken girl or it's you. If you're doing that, you need to do some serious work, like shadow work, working on your ego, all of that. Whatever's fueling you to do that needs to get back in check. And so, if you can just have this connection, it's just such a deep soul sharing bond. Because although the basis for sex is this, when you have sex with someone, it's still sharing your soul with them, but it's just not a deep connection like when you can truly say that you love someone, like not just in the heat, not just in the heat of the moment, because that's the worst time to say I love you for the first time. Never say I love you for the first time during sex. Because although it will bring you together, the act of sex, and it will make you feel closer to someone than you ever have, it's not the right time. Because then you're just acting on lust and impulses. Say it when you have a clear mind, and say it when you're not thinking with your dick. And if you're having trouble, if you've watched this and you got to this point and you don't even have a girlfriend or like anyone to share sexual experiences with, which better be someone you have a connection with, better be a girlfriend, better be someone in a relationship. Otherwise, you've just completely wasted, what, 13 and a half minutes of my time. Yeah, but if you're struggling with that and you are having issues attracting women, then I've literally just made a video on that 2 videos ago. Go check that out. That's all I've got for you today. Have a good day and a great week. Mwah.